You're listening to For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation.
Hello there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation. It is a big week because not only are we talking about the Bad Batch, but we had our first trailer drop for the Acolyte. Our last episode, we were recording it the day before the trailer dropped, so we were doing some brief speculation. Now we actually get to talk about the thing. And then, of course, they decided to drop all of the news before we started recording, so we can talk about that. But we're not alone. It's Andrew and Donovan back here once again. Joined once again by Mo, back for the first time this year. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Perfect.
Ready to. There's so much news that came out today.
There's so
literally
much.
like an hour ago.
Like an hour ago. So I guess we could talk about this first before we get into the Acolyte. So I get home from work and I see a tweet like, "Oh yeah, May the 4th, you can experience the entire Skywalker saga in theaters." So we already had the Phantom Menace screenings, the re-release, which that starts on the 3rd, which I was already going to. And now I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I'm tempted. Because the concept of a marathon is, it's 9 movies, and I wouldn't do all 9, not because I don't want to see all 9, but because I don't know if I can physically do that. But
yeah, like by the time Rise of Skywalker finishes, you're just like sunk back in your chair.
I'm just like
that. You're like, oh.
Yeah, no.
This chair and I are we're stuck together at this point. I have trouble doing
leaking out of your ears from the
I have
sheer
trouble
amount of
doing
Star Wars.
double features. I can't imagine doing 9 in a row. That's just, so we don't know what it's like, but like part of me wants to at least do some of them because there are 4 Star Wars movies I have not seen in the theater. The 3 prequels and A New Hope.
Oh.
And I'm seeing The Phantom Menace for sure. So it'll be 3. So it's like if I at least did Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, that would be good. But again, that's the concept of that's like 3 in a row. Yep, that's 6 hours uninterrupted. So it's like, and Attack of the Clones is long, and it's just like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. But there's definitely like, because the concept of seeing Empire on the big screen again sounds really good. I would love to see The Force Awakens on the big screen again because I only got to see that the one time. Same. So it's like there are definitely a lot of ones that I'm like, I want to do this, but it's like, can you do this for the whole weekend and not just May the 4th so I can pick and choose
Honestly,
which days I go?
I'm hoping they do like they start on the 4th and they just do like rounds of 3 throughout the weekend. That would be doable.
That would be sick.
That would be more doable, yeah.
I know when this was back when I was in my theater employee era, but they did like a re-release of Harry Potter one year, and they spaced out where they had like 3 a day, and when they alternated which ones were playing like for like a week. So if they did something like that, that would be cool. But I think it's literally like, all right, all 9 of them in a row. So it's like, you want to watch The Phantom Menace? Get here at 9 a.m. and there we go.
Like we all suddenly turn into daytime TV presenters, like morning TV presenters, just like getting up at the crack of dawn just to like watch some Star Wars.
I'm like, all right, like imagine the people like, yeah, I'm gonna go for the 1:15 a.m. showing of The Rise of Skywalker, please. It's like, oh god. But I do, I might just do. It's tough. I think I'm gonna commit myself to at least one. I think we'll see. But again, it's like Mo and I were talking. Do you buy one ticket and you get all 9, or do you have to pick which ones you're going to and buy for those? Because it's like, I mean, they got to be. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Your Starlight Journal. Your Starlight Journal is going to look very interesting by May the 4th, Andrew.
9 entries on May the 4th. Bing, 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 bing. Yep. And then, but Phantom Menace I'm for sure seeing because 1, I was going to see it regardless, and then 2, we're getting Acolyte footage on top of it. So, I mean, I have to now. I
I might
see.
try to watch A New Hope too.
Plus, we have New Hope is going to be great. And
Hope
then
in the cinema, like the Death Star trench run in the cinema, just be like, oh, incredible, absolutely incredible.
Plus, for Phantom, we have it's not just for the one day; it's like spread out, so I can actually pick which days I want to go. But there was that, and then
Speaking of the Acolyte, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to mention before that they announced that Celebration tickets are going on sale, and they
Of course, yes.
put out the badge art for it, and I don't know. I've already made the decision. I'm not going to this one. It's tragic, but I just won't be able to make it work. But next time, I'm for sure going. I'm already seeing friends talk about getting tickets, so it's like I at least know that there's going to be some people I know that are going and that are going to have a great time, or at least they're going to try to go.
But they're going to announce it for Antarctica in 2026.
Yeah, it's like we want real hot.
Australia.
Yeah, Australia would be fun though.
I mean, they did film some of the films there, so that would at least that would make some sense.
Celebration Skellig Impractical 2027. I'll be like, oh, come on now. But I say this all, but I'm 100% gonna still, when Celebration happens, be getting so much FOMO during it. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh man, this thing I chose not to go to, I'm mad I couldn't go to. But it's like, it is what it is. That's how the world works sometimes.
Like, so much doom scrolling.
Yeah. But now we can talk about the Acolyte, and do not be surprised if the bulk of this episode is actually about this trailer, because I mean we have a lot to talk about with Bad Batch, but I feel like we've just been so dominated by the Acolyte discussion this week that there's just so much to discuss.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to go off of first is it just looks freaking brilliant, man. Not only does it look wonderfully shot, and you can tell that the budget is there, but this cast is insane. The premise, I mean, we're all High Republic stands here, regardless of how behind we all are.
I am so close to finishing Cataclysm now.
I wish I could say that.
If it sticks the landing, it will.
I started the Rising Storm.
Yay! It will. If I finish Cataclysm, if Cataclysm is if it sticks the landing in the third act, it will definitely rank as my favorite story of Phase 2 so far. Sorry, Battle of Jeddah, you're taking it and knocked down to 5th place.
Because last time it was Battle of Jeddah bumped Mando off, so now it's that's. Bumping.
I think Cataclysm might do it. I what can I say? I really like the ensemble thing, and Jedi Knight Gela Natai. She's awesome. I love her.
I don't know what that means, but
you'll learn soon, Andrew, who Gela Natai is. But yeah, I really loved this trailer. I thought it was, it was different from what we saw at Celebration, like the snippets and stuff, because we've all seen little leaked bits of footage from Celebration. But it looks really cool. Leslie, I've seen snippets, tiny pieces, but that's it. But you can feel I've only read smatterings of Legends, but I can feel that Leslie Headland is really bringing some influence of Legends stuff, as well as the High Republic feel to it. And as you said, that cast is just fantastic. I love seeing all these different actors get a crack at Star Wars. I mean, my favorite casting is by far Carrie-Anne Moss. I'm just so excited that she's playing
Dara.
Master Indara. You might hear more from her about her in a minute, but yeah, it feels very different, and that's one thing that's really awesome, is that it's a different kind of Star Wars story. We're getting kind of what seems like a murder mystery with Jedi being killed off one by one, and as you said, there's already been a discussion of because there was the thing that wasn't in the Celebration trailer, and that was the red blade flying into that hand, and that shockwave knocking all those Jedi back, and that kind of raised the discussion point of does that mean any Jedi who encounters a red blade is going to meet their end? And it's while I get the line of thinking with that, I'm not actually sure that that's necessarily going to be the case, because as we have seen with the whole certain point of view thing with the Jedi, but also the kind of arrogance of the Jedi Order in the prequels.
Yeah,
it's very possible that
continue.
Oh no, I was going to say that it's very possible that like there could be a Darksider who is encountered by the Jedi, and the Jedi Council, even though they are actually a Sith, the Jedi Council could just dismiss them as like a pretender or like just a mere Darksider, not a Sith, because like the Jedi are known. I mean, Qui-Gon Jinn fought a guy who could not look more Sith in his appearance. He literally he had Sith colors. Like Qui-Gon's like, no, yeah, he was literally dressed like a Sith, and the Jedi Council are like, yeah, sure, bro, whatever.
People are bringing up, it's like it's like the show has been described by Leslie Headland and by the people working on the show, and I think by Lucasfilm too, as a mystery thriller. So we know that I would not be shocked at all if we see more and more as the show goes on that Jedi cast dwindling as they're taken out by the Darksiders. But there's been
Daphne Keane is okay. That would be
so. She's got a really cool design in the show, and the fact that she's half human and half help me out here, Don. What's the species? But
oh no, see my head, I have blanked on like most of the cast. I only just remember Daphne Keene's name, and that
Daphne Keene's
to my
in it,
shame, but like
it's like, and she's gonna be really cool. She was one of the 3 Black Series figures that I bought or pre-ordered earlier today, which if you're watching on video, this is a very fitting new name for the stream because
I'm getting an Master and Dara Black Series. I have to do that at some point.
It's coming. It wasn't one of the 3 I ordered at first, but I know I'm just gonna have to pace myself, and I'll just eventually get it.
We also got like a brief shot of Venestra Rowe, Rebecca Henderson, which is like, for like anyone who's like read at least the phase 1 books, or at least the middle grade books, it's just really cool that we're getting like an actual character from the books who's gonna like show up there. That's so cool. We've also got like Manny Jacinto. It's like, so like since we did our celebration episode like last year where we got the trailer, I have since seen The Good Place, and I can say that he is absolutely hilarious in that, and I am so happy that he's here.
I dropped off midway through the second season. I gotta finish it because I really like that
you
show.
Need to finish it. It's a hell of a show.
It's really good. I just like stopped for. That's what I do with most shows. Is I just stop
is
for
good.
no reason.
I like
you haven't even got. That means you haven't got to Maya Rudolph yet. I don't think.
No,
have you got to Maya Rudolph? She's hilarious.
I know. I definitely got to Tia Sakar, which was a jump scare. I was like, wait a minute, Sabine?
Brilliant. She's also in the After Party, which I highly recommend.
I hear that's really good too.
It's excellent. Ben Schwartz is brilliant in that, as is I forget the lead actor's name. I'm forgetting a bunch of names. I've got the cast on Wikipedia right now, so I remember people. But he's great, yeah.
But people, you brought up the arrogance of the Jedi during the prequels, and people are for some reason trying to make this a discussion to shit on the show because people are the term I will use is grasping at straws to try to discredit this show. It's woke. Leslie Headland, there's people that don't know about Star Wars writing. What?
Meanwhile, the showrunner literally grew up reading Legends books. Yeah. She could not be more of a dyed-in-the-wool Star Wars
description
fan.
And her reason, because she did an interview, and her reasoning for why she had someone in the writer's room, she specifically chose someone that had never seen it, so she could have that one voice that was an outside, different perspective. And I think that's really smart if you're writing a show, because then you don't need to worry about just specifically going towards the, Star Wars is like this. But it's like, well, what if it's like this? And then you can get those fresh voices. And I think if you're having a writer's room where the point is to have multiple different voices in there, if they all sound the same, it could lead to it just not being that good of a product. So to just have something different is something I think the franchise needs. And I'm okay with, like, Tony Gilroy has gone out and said he doesn't like live and breathe this stuff. And then he made Andor. So like,
he does.
Come on, guys. I mean, he does. But he says he doesn't. But like we know he does. He
comes to Celebration at least.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But he comes to Celebration. And he put all those like lovely goodies in Stellan Skarsgård's shop. So But like I completely agree with you. I think it's an important thing. We've got to remember that like as much as these shows can appeal to us in many ways of like fan service and stuff like The Mandalorian and like Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, it's important to have different kind of voices in there, people who aren't quite as familiar with the Star Wars galaxy, but are familiar with like storytelling concepts and like story structure and how to tell a good story. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that like being a fan and being a good storyteller are like separate things. It's a spectrum of stuff for sure, but like it's good to have someone who can bring an outside perspective, because this, you know, that way it will appeal to like all kinds of audiences if you have different kinds of voices. It's just good sensible like storytelling priorities.
Definitely. And I think the people that are like, oh well, this show retcons Ki-Adi-Mundi's line in the Phantom Menace if they know about the Sith, it's like, okay, one, they're obviously going to explain why, you know, if they encounter the Sith and they realize it's a Sith, why that doesn't become public knowledge. Like, I feel like that would be one of the very first things they had a discussion of when they pitched this show was, well, wait a minute, hold on. And it's like, all right, well, that was probably day one shit. And two, I find this really funny that they're saying this now. And yes, I've always loved the prequels, but like 10 years ago, they would be like, oh, just retcon it all. Who cares? Like, they were the same people arguing, like, oh yeah, Force Awakens erased the prequels.
And if we're talking retcons, like literally, I said this back when we did our discussions of Obi-Wan, when people were like throwing a bit of a fit over like Obi-Wan and Leia meeting. You know, and I was like, you know, the biggest reveal in Star Wars, like the most iconic movie twist of all time, was a retcon. It wasn't originally the plan for Darth Vader to be Luke's dad. It wasn't originally the plan for Leia to be Luke's sister. You know, those were both retcons, and the story adapted around that as a result. You know, most successive stories will retcon things. That is just tends to be kind of like how it works with these long-running stories that we see with Star Wars and Marvel and, you know, the like. And it's just irresponsible of people to kind of like just ignore this kind of stuff and be like, oh well, you know, oh they're retconning it, that means it's bad. No.
Also, why are we gunning for Ki-Adi-Mundi, dude? He sucks. If he said anything, I'm not listening. The dude sucks.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
We're, you know, Ki-Adi-Mundi is just the new guy that we're championing for.
If we ever do, like, it's a shame that guy they didn't get Silas Carson to like reprise the role at the animated show, because then I could do a Clone Wars version of Who Watch and say that he was literally the voice of Satan.
He's literally oh jeez.
Oh yeah. Like, if you're going to watch a two-parter, Andrew, I recommend watching that two-part episode of Doctor Who, the Satan Pit story. It is great. No.
How old is Ki-Adi-Mundi? How old is the dude boy?
I think he's born after this show. There was another Jedi Council member, though, who people were speculating about, and that was Plo Koon, because there was a young Keldor scene. Yeah, and I'm like, I'd be behind that. Cool. I could see Plo Koon like popping up in this show. That would be kind of cool.
Oh,
sure. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if Ki-Adi was even alive during the Acolyte, he would definitely lie about the Sith. Like, not
he's just the one that encounters the Sith, and he's like, it's not Sith.
No, I didn't see that.
No. Yeah, it's like, I didn't see anything. You know, it was an orange blade. It wasn't red.
There's one character that needs to not bite it during the show at all, which is Kel Naka, the Wookiee Jedi.
Kel Naka.
Do not take him away from me.
Not to be confused with Buryaga.
Not to be confused with Buryaga. But it is Jonas Swatamo playing.
It is. I love that.
Which is beautiful.
Lovely to see Eunice again.
To quickly jump back to Vern, I love that that's one of those things where like a non like Star Wars, like hardcore Star Wars fan sees it. It's like, oh, that's a cool like bald woman character, and then like THR Twitter's like, oh my god, Vernestro!
Yeah,
screaming. It's like, but I am very interested in seeing her in like a much later phase in her life.
Yeah, and she's definitely like a master at this point. She has
definitely.
Like, really nice
if these are like 100 years after Phase 3.
And she has like more tattoos.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
So like, one, it's like the Mary Ellen lifespan is way longer than I thought, and two, it's like Girlie's got to have some trauma. Like all of her friends, like she outlived them all. So
literally, like, everybody she knows is dead.
I know
Everybody
Imri.
gets one.
She
Except
outlived
Yoda.
Imri. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, maybe he's like 100 years old in this show, and he's just chilling, retired
we're-
by the water.
Yeah, and while we're on it, I want to like point out. I'm sidestepping away from the pain there, Andrew. But while we're at it, I'd like to mention the fact that Leslie Headland confirmed that Ventress is going to be the only book character that appears in this season. And the reasoning she gave was very interesting, that she wants to save people for season 2, which is like,
Yeah, that's cool.
I love that this is going to be a multi-season show.
If we get an Avar Chris appearance in season 2, I'm gonna melt into a puddle on the floor and just I'm gonna be irretrievable. What I want to
see the most is Vern opening up like a holocron and it's Stellan.
Stellan,
like, that's what I want to see.
Like the scene in Ahsoka with Anakin. Yeah.
I was gonna mention a scene from The Rising Storm, but Mo's literally reading it right now, so I'm not gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I am.
But
you know, the funny thing about High Republic, a lot of it's been like spoiled because obviously it's been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's so many deaths that I don't remember exactly who died. So I'm reading The Rising Storm and I'm like, I don't really know.
Who's it?
Like I'm going in blind.
I'm pretty sure Alden like spoiled a phase 2 death for me when he was on for the Ahsoka chat that we did, and I can't even remember who he was talking about because there have been so many deaths since then.
I don't even know who these people are.
Alden's guest spot is just retroactively getting worse with the spoilers. He ruined Survivor for me. He did this for THR Phase 2. It's just Alden Gate grows worse and worse.
Phase 3 happens like after Phase 1. That's where
yeah.
So that's cool that like this is the only character that's going to be in the first season, and it's like second season. So maybe we get more Phase 3 characters if like they introduce more people, or it's like because those books aren't out yet, we're not gonna put them.
We'll see.
But they'll be in the next
I want
season.
Porter Engel, like played by Nick Offerman, to just show up.
I really want.
I think
Porter
everybody
Engel.
wants. He's like perfect.
I want him
the
to
blade of Bardoda.
Just be Ron Swanson, but just say it's Porter Engel and just go with that.
And just cook really well, and then
Yes,
it's fine.
I'm a smashing cook.
Oh my god,
exactly.
Perfect. But we need to pivot and talk about Amanda Stenberg for a second.
I was just waiting for that.
I'm already obsessed. The costume design, first of all, it's incredible. Like their look is so cool. May is already like, I can already tell like I'm gonna eat this character up. And just the fact that we know that they're a former Padawan and now they're like a Jedi assassin, which is really sick.
I watched
a
the trailer
little worried.
The first like 5 times I watched the trailer, I wasn't even really paying attention to anything else. I was just like, wow, they look great.
Donna, I gotta be honest with you. I'm very worried that Carrie Ann Moss is gonna play like she's in the very first episode and then just gets killed, and then that's like the big thing that sets up.
I mean, someone pointed out that that's her lightsaber on the teaser poster, so that's worrying. I mean, we are probably it's a High Republic. It's an adaptation of the High Republic. We're gonna get some dead Jedi. That's like we're getting pain.
Yeah.
So like I'm stealing myself, but it is just still really cool to see like all these different people. And as you said, Amanda Stenberg, they look fantastic. They've got a really cool kind of vibe going on. I noticed some like similarities to that like early concept art of Darth Maul with the Phantom Menace, which it makes sense that there's also kind of a Phantom Menace vibe in some parts of this series, which is just really cool. And
I mean, I think that's kind of intentional. The fact that this is the transition the transition period. That's the next thing. The fact that they're pairing up Acolyte footage with the Phantom Menace re-release, and the fact that the show drops on the year of the 25th anniversary of the film. It's everything. It's like poetry. It rhymes. But then also, I mean, this cast is just stacked. And I mean, Lee Jung-jae, I can't wait. Like, perfect casting for a Jedi Master.
Yeah.
The fact that this is his first English-speaking role, too.
I know. It was honestly weird.
You wouldn't know.
No.
He does great.
He does great here.
And he did the Obi-Wan line too, like your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them, which is it's very interesting that they chose that line for the trailer, given that Amanda Stenberg is playing his former Padawan, because it kind of
I'm thinking those are flashbacks because he has nice white robes, and then they go to like ugly prequel robe.
He's got the High Republic drip, and then
Yeah.
they kind of start to transition to the muddier prequel robes, really. Which I mean, I like the main cloak. I mean, I don't know. I'm biased towards the prequel robes because Obi-Wan wore them well, but I maybe get why
That's because
Anakin.
Obi-Wan wore
McGregor.
everything well. Yeah.
Ewan McGregor could wear a trash bag and he'd look great. So
Yeah.
But they
Obi-Wan
definitely
season
like
2.
it definitely has like hints of High Republic in those robes. We can see how they're easily going to transition to like
Yeah.
the prequel ones, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, no, I like that too very much. I'm also gonna like mention very briefly about, because if we're talking like, oh yeah, I have to shout out Abigail Thorne, Philosophy Tube, who is making her debut in Star Wars. That's just really cool. It's just as people who are active on YouTube, I just think it's awesome that like someone in our field, in a sense, is like making a jump to there. A very popular person for sure, but it's like really awesome that they've got such a varied cast of people. I mean,
are they playing a major role, or is it going to be like Christina Ariel, like in Kenobi?
They've not said. I think. Well, they announced it very like they've announced it like immediately after the trailer dropped. So I'm guessing it's a decent supporting role. If we're talking like brief cameos in the show, I want a cameo from Natasha Lyonne, just because it's Leslie Headland's show. I'd love Natasha Lyonne to like pop up as like a contact, a smuggler contact of like Manny Jacinto's, and she's just like a badass.
I could see her being like a smuggler or like someone who's like running a shop in a marketplace.
I want Yaddle.
Yes,
that's the role.
We need a Yaddle appearance with Bryce Dallas Howard doing the voice, and we need. I mean, I'd be very shocked if there is not even a cameo from Yoda and Yariel Poof.
I can see Yoda being like a tease at the end of the season, then him being like a bigger player in season 2. Leslie Headland, though, like I feel like she like. I feel like if we don't get a Yariel Poof cameo just in the background, like it's something's not right there. Like it feels like she would make sure that that's in there. So
I want her to give Yariel Poof the most like surprising voice ever. Like he has a voice that comes out that's like completely antithetical to what you think he would sound like. Like he opens his mouth and it's Keanu Reeves.
That'd be great.
Well, aren't there rumors about Keanu being in this?
Keanu has been rumored for like pretty much every Star Wars project. People keep insisting that he's going to be.
My one friend was like, "Oh, I think that Keanu is the Sith at the end of the trailer." I'm like, "Well, that would be sweet, but like,
that'd be cool."
I don't remember hearing that. Well, I guess, Don, do you have any guesses? I mean, it could just be May, but like, do you have any guesses of?
I think
like,
that's
is Plagueis a possibility at this point, or is that too early in the timeline?
Plagueis, I think, is a possibility, but he would be a teenager. I watched Alex from Star Wars Explained did a video speculating about it, and he basically said like that Plagueis would be a teenager around this time, so it's possible, I think.
Could be the master.
And that's what I mean. I think given the way this shot is staged and the very impressive shockwave pushing all the Jedi back, this is a Sith master. This is a very experienced Darksider we're dealing with. So I don't think it'll be May. Because it is May, I think all likelihood is that May is the Acolyte. I think we're probably going to get a twist by the end of the first episode that they know more about it than they're letting on. Like that May is actually sort of a double agent, because that's kind of the vibe that the show has been kind of giving off. Like, sorry if I spoil this twist for everyone in advance, but we are speculating. But like,
well, a lot of the summaries say that like her and Soul are going to be working together, right?
Or at
least that they're brought back together like through this.
Oh man, I wanted her to stay bad.
I mean, she probably will. I don't know.
She's probably going to go bad. There is that mystery figure like on the rocks that she's
that's who I was like.
And there's also Jodie Turner-Smith's character who's just leading a mysterious group of witches, which like I'm glad they're witches because they were giving me Path of the Open Hand vibes, and I'm like,
that's what people have been saying. They're only in phase 2, right?
Yeah, I hope there's no connection. I hate the Path of the Open Hand with a passion.
Don does not like the Path of the Open Hand. Don does not like Mark Yenro, and Don does not like the Path of the Open Hand.
Marky and Row is a bastard, and the Path of the Open Hand, they are the worst. Like I legitimately like they are great villains in the story, but like they're a force cult that is basically going around gaslighting the Jedi, saying, "Oh, it's really bad that you do the Force," and then they go and do some of the stuff they do in the books, and it's like Andrew with Andrew with a certain lizard.
No. We're not talking. Save it for the Bad Batch discussion.
We all thought that Fennec was talking to Ventress at the end of that episode, but she was talking to Sid.
Give me. That would just make our bookings retroactively awful if it turns out to be.
I am joking, Star Wars. Please don't punish me for my joke and actually put Sid in the next episode.
It's happening now. You've ruined it.
Oh no! I manifested Sid accidentally into season 3.
But we have the final shot of all the lightsabers igniting at once.
Great.
It's sick. Shout out to who's what's the other the one Jedi with the really cool hair? What's his name? With
Charlie
the yellow
Garnett's
saber.
character.
Yeah.
Who worked with Leslie Headland on Russian Doll. Really
Doll.
good actor. Love that he's here playing a Jedi Knight.
I just love the fact we're getting more yellow sabers in live action.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
there was only like 2 blue sabers, which is crazy. Because blue is always like the common one. So it was nice to see gold and some green.
I know, like I love blue. Blue is my favorite color, and I'll always be happy to see a blue saber. But I'm really glad that we're getting more colors. I love seeing the variety here.
I gotta look through the Black Series figs and just remind myself of what everyone's saber color is. Because I know Daphne Keene has the green saber, and then so Soul has a blue one.
He's the one blue.
He's the one blue.
Checks out.
Yeah, and then I think Indara has a green one as well.
Yeah.
So as long as we get more purple sabers, I'm okay with it. There were none in the trailer that I saw, but
I think they're gonna wait for Vern to bust
the light whip. I can't wait till people that haven't read the books are like, "Oh my god, they're ruining a whip."
Yeah, I was literally thinking that. I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna hate that."
It's like the people that like acted like when Obi-Wan came out that it was the first time they heard about the helicopters blades, and it's like, this is stupid. It's like, dude,
I love the helicopter blades.
My favorite thing
is
like is how every like couple years the dominant opinion changes on whether or not they like Rebels or not. Because I remember like when I did a TikTok trend like 2 years ago, it was like Clone Wars versus Rebels, and I was like, "Oh my god, Rebels is trash, bro! How did you not pick Clone Wars for every single category?" And then like when Ahsoka came out, it's like, "Oh my god, Rebels is the best thing ever, bro!" It's like, make up your mind. What is going on here? Either way,
will come out, and then everyone will be like,
"The Acolyte will come out."
Is great.
Yeah,
everyone will be like worshiping. Everyone will be worshiping at the altar of the Acolyte for sure.
Oh, I mean, they should. This looks freaking fantastic. So I'm very excited for it. And the way I know, and yes, it's like it got review bombed and there was the dislikes, but the way I know that the overall dominant opinion is really, really strong about this trailer is one, it broke the viewing record, which you don't really do unless you get more outside interference or outside viewership. And 2, I have people that are more lapsed Star Wars fans that message me like, "Dude, the Acolyte looks really cool." And I'm like, all right, that's all you need. So I'm so excited for this. This feels like a show that I'm shocked it took them this long to make. It's just a show with a bunch of Jedi in a different time period. You have this dark side mystery. If it's not great, I will be very, very shocked. Just because I completely trust Leslie Headland. I think this cast is insane. Getting to see the High Republic at this time period is very intriguing to me as we really get closer and closer to the prequel era. And yeah, I just was very impressed with what we saw. And I cannot wait for June.
Honestly, every interview of Leslie, it's just like, she's like, I read so much. I love Star Wars. It's like, great. Perfect.
That's what you need.
I love Leslie Headland's passion for like Star Wars and the material, and that's why I'm so the way she talks about it and the influences she kind of like brings, and the fact that I already know that she has like the like real like acumen as a storyteller after watching Russian Doll and just seeing how well directed that was and how well written it was, because she was a co-writer on that as well. I'm just so hyped for this show. Like like Bad Batch and this were like equally hyped because I got really into season 2 and like I was really excited to see where they were going, and like but I'm so excited for the Acolyte. Like the Acolyte, it's the most different kind of Star Wars show we have had since Andor, like for sure. And I'm just I can't say enough good things about how hyped I am for it. Really,
I remember when I think it was like D23 when they announced in like 19 like all the shows they were gonna do. And I remember seeing Andor, and I was like, obviously. And just the Acolyte, I was like, ooh.
Like,
having no information, I was like, ooh, that sounds cool.
I think a lot of people were like, ooh, the Acolyte. What is that?
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
I want more shows like this. So I hope this show does gangbusters, so we get more
and
stuff
I'm
like
happy
this.
that we already have confirmation of another season.
Yeah. No, and we're
I
getting another 2-episode
season.
premiere. So there we go.
I wish they were, well, I haven't seen it, but I already wish they were longer episodes. Like I was thinking more like 40 minutes, but 30. We'll see. You never know. They could utilize the time crazy.
Give us the Andor length. But
maybe it's like Gennady Tarkovsky's Clone Wars, and like every minute counts with that. Like it's just like pure adrenaline shot of High Republic prequely goodness.
That's what I'm thinking. Like they're just not going to waste a minute. Like everything's going to have.
I'm very excited to see just a completely different aesthetic on screen for the Jedi Order.
Yeah,
I think
and all of the Force Foo stuff as well, like the martial arts stuff. I love that there's like martial arts influences, like that shot when May like flips around with the kick, Lee Jun Jae's character, and he blocks it with his hand, and just like there's that look of recognition. That's so cool. I love it. Fantastic.
Did they always say that Manny Jacinto was going to be a smuggler, or was that recently?
That was recently. I didn't know what role he had. I assumed he was a
Jedi.
Bummed.
Unless he's like a smuggler that like kicks ass, because he's like super into martial arts. So I thought he was gonna be like a Jedi or something.
I think Daphne Keane said he does a lot. I think she said he is like stunt master.
I remember that.
So he's gonna. I think he's gonna do a lot of like maybe he'll do even like there'll be some kind of Jackie Chan's kind of stuff where he's the underdog in the fight and he's got to like outsmart the opponent. But I could see him being kind of a kick-ass smuggler, very kind of like Han Solo if he knew kung fu.
That you sold me right there. Like that's all you need to say is Han Solo if he knew kung fu. And I'm like,
honestly, if he just has like a staff or something, I'm sold.
Like if they pair him up with Kel Naka, if they pair him up with Kel Naka, you'll know that he's meant to be the Han Solo of the show for sure because he has a Wookiee pal.
I mean, if he just starts pulling out like Shirt Imwe moves, I'll be like, all right, this guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, give him a staff. Give him a staff, and we're good.
No, nothing ever goes wrong when you give someone a staff in Star Wars. It just instantly makes characters better. So, no, the Acolyte, it looks awesome. And June, is it June 2nd? I have literally Wikipedia pulled up right now. Yeah, June 4th.
June 8th? 4th.
June 4th. 2
June
episode
4th
premiere.
be with you.
It's going to be sick, and I cannot wait. And that means we'll just have another show to discuss, so it'll be fun. But now, before we segue into Bad Batch, let's take a little break and let's do some fun little Jedi Archives stuff.
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
That was the worst sell I've ever had for this segment of all time.
Who ended up winning the last one?
So that's the thing. So last time it was between Don and I, and it was a battle between Nemec and Rex. And as of right now, the winner, or who is winning, is none other than Clone Jesus himself, Captain Rex. So he is.
Sorry, Andrew. I did vote for Rex.
I also.
Thank you,
I love him.
You kind of have to.
So cool. I mean,
the minute Don said Rex, I'm like, all right, I lost. Like because my whole thing was like, oh, Nemec, which one? Yes, Nemec. Both of them. So, but it is what it is. Rex. I mean, he was really great last week. So, I mean, it's great. And Don, believe it or not, first inductee into the archives. It took
Nice.
11 tries. But
It took 11 tries. I mean, I can't even claim like full like responsibility for this because my brother asked me to like nominate Rex for him because Rex is his favorite character in Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Like, I kind of felt like that would be a strong contender, but so like this is like I'm a proxy basically for my brother. So it's carrying on the like tradition of like, you know, the guests or like the friends are like the ones like
us
kind of
getting destroyed by, by whoever we have on every week. But Don, since you won, I'll give you the reins to start things off this week. Who are we going with?
So I'm gonna go with like different characters this time. For my nomination for this week's archives, I am nominating the biggest snitch in the galaxy, and I'm nominating Freck for the Jedi Archives.
Oh, I thought you were going Indara. That's who I thought.
I thought he was going to do Sid.
I'm gonna.
I
I'm
would
not
have
gonna
killed him.
Oh, I don't want to. I'm
Like,
waiting
whoa.
specifically for when Andrew's guard is down so I can torture him with that nomination.
But win too. That's
yeah. Oh, I'll be getting
What?
everyone to swarm. I'll be getting everyone to swarm and vote for Sid just for the fun of it. Yeah, but like, yeah, Indara is definitely in my mind, but I've talked enough about Indara, so I'm gonna save Indara because I can talk then more about Carrie-Anne Moss in future episodes because I have to nominate Freck because we all love to hate a snitch like him, and at the same time as he's such a hateable character, he's also kind of a vital one as well because like it's a rare look into the kind of citizens that support the Empire and how disarming his presence is, and that's kind of what I like about him as a character because like even though he turns out to be like this massive, basically exactly the kind of character you would think based on him. It's like he's literally a mole rat. But it's just a really cool thing to have, like to show that look, not all of the people who are loyal to the Empire as civilians, they're not all going to appear like snivelly, weaselly people. They are going to seem very friendly. They're going to be like, oh, hi there, I'm Freck. I'll give you a ride on my truck. Don't mind my Nazi flag draped over the back. But like, it's just he was just a really cool character, and they didn't have to do a character like that in the Obi-Wan show, and I'm just really glad that they did because it was just a really disarming presence, kind of funny at the same time with Zach Braff's performance, and it kind of gave us a really tense sequence with the stormtroopers and that like instant heartbreaker of a line. Sometimes when I look at Luma, I can see her mother's face. So I'll kind of give Freck some credit for that. Yeah. So he's my nomination this week.
All right. So for me, I don't have much this week. So I'm going with The Invisible Hand is my nomination because I got the Lego set as a birthday gift to myself. One of the 25th anniversary sets that they had. And I just think it's a really cool shit. The opening set piece of Revenge of the Sith is just one of the like coolest things that Star Wars has ever done. So I guess I'll nominate the whole scene. The opening battle over Coruscant is just so cool, and there are so many just fun things that I remember about that and just are always like super nostalgic for me. Especially even like the deleted scenes of like when they have to go like in the underwater area, and then Grievous with all of his just it's just I don't know, it's just a fun scene. So I'm nominating that. Yeah. It's a cool shit. It's a cool ship, fun scene. I want to see the cut that Lucas has of the movie somewhere where like the first hour of the movie is just
oh my god
rescuing the Chancellor. I want to see what like a world where that existed and what that like how that played out. So that is my nomination this week. And now we bring it to Mo. So what is it? Jyn Cassian again?
It's not Jyn Cassian. I feel like I might win though if I do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And it's just Amanda Stenberg as May.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's like my news for the week. Because not only is Amanda Stenberg like a major Star Wars fan, like they're just a nerd, they're also playing like a really cool character in Star Wars that's like not a legacy character. There's a brand new character. And they might end the Jedi and it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know, we support you know, hot
We
people
support
doing
people's
evil
wrongs
things.
as well as their rights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the fact that they were on the Acolyte panel at Celebration in a Padme cosplay
As Padme.
is just it's instantly
like
it's like you have all the
Incredible.
nerd
literally night and day outfits. They've got the amazing Padme cosplay, one of the best I've ever seen, and then they've got
Yeah.
the like this
The
like
Darth Maul.
the
Yeah.
Darth Maul kind of look. It's just
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see
May's
to see
hair
them in action.
alone, I think I could have nominated
Yeah.
for the archives. It
true.
just looks so cool.
Very nice. And the cloak, the purple
cloak?
cloak.
The purple
incredible.
cloak? Sign me
The
up.
look, the
Instant
one look
new favorite
that they give when
character.
they're unmasked, just very like enigmatic and very
Yeah.
Give me
cool.
that right
It's
now.
so nuts to me that they were Rue in the first Hunger Games film.
I
That's so
know.
crazy.
Well, they were a
It's
little baby when that.
insane.
I know.
And then you see them in like the most recent thing I saw them in was Bodies. But then
I
like
haven't
going
seen
to
that,
this,
but that's on
I haven't
Netflix.
seen
So
that
I
either.
might.
it's fun. And then they were in that. They were incredible in The Hate You Give. And then I always forget that they were in Across the Spider-Verse. So and now that they're in
Were they Spider Bite?
Yeah, I think that's the character's name.
Oh yeah, the hologram one, the one
yeah,
doing
the hologram
VR.
one.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was a
AR
great
one.
character. Yeah,
Yeah, great.
for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Bodies when I'm done watching the Gentleman series that Guy Ritchie's done on Netflix.
It's a really fun kind of like twist on the slasher genre. It's really, really fun, and the soundtrack is great, and the cast is incredible. So I recommend it. So those are our nominations this week. You have the winner, which is May, and then you have you have the Galaxy's Biggest Snitch, and you have
shucks.
the battle over Coruscant. So we will have the Twitter poll up after this episode drops, and you can vote for your favorite there. Vote for Amanda Stenberg.
Don't vote for Freck. He'll just scream back into his hole. Yes.
No.
Don't go for the Trump supporter.
No, God, no. We don't need that here.
Oh, no, we don't.
No, we do not. What we do need is to talk about Clone Force 99. Because Fennec Shand!
99.
For this week's episode, which, again, I liked it. But I think just in terms of how we've had so much to talk about in recent weeks with Bad Territory, it just felt like you had two very simple stories for each. You had your A plot with Hunter and Wrecker and Fennec, and then you had your B plot, which was more somber, more quiet with Omega and Crosshair, and that really worked for me. But I think Don made a comparison with Alex Damon earlier. He mentioned that it just kind of became an episode of The Mandalorian, and I thought it was fun. It was fun going to like Swamp Planet and everything, and getting to see it. Florida.
Well, I was gonna say it's Planet Florida, literally.
And
they
getting
have
to
giant
see
alligators.
Yeah, Wrecker fighting space alligators. Sign me up.
Like my brother watched that before me, and he said, "Just wait. You'll see a scene. You'll know it when you see it. That is the most Florida man shit in Star Wars you have ever seen." And then I saw Wrecker like literally wrestling a giant space alligator, and I'm like, "Yep, that's prime. That's prime Florida man shit right there."
Definitely.
But I also loved getting to see Fennec in a different period where she's just very different from how we see her in season 2 of The Mandalorian and in the Book of Boba Fett, where she's all that matters are the credits. And then at the end, it's like, does she sell out the batch? Is she like, what's going on there? So I'm very curious to see where this is going. But we start off on Pabu and we get more with Cross. And I loved how Crosshair starts this episode off because there's just like 3 scenes where they're like, Fee shows up, he's like, who? And then when they bring up Fennec Shand, he's like, who? I'm like, Crosshair just out of the loop. Doesn't know.
I love
confused.
the look he gives Omega. Like when Omega says, she's a liberator of ancient wonders. And he just like stares at her like he's gonna say,
okay.
He's like, I'm not falling for that horse shit. Like
he's a pirate.
Yeah, she's
I love
pirate. He's
like immediately looks to Omega. Like, can you translate what is going on? His little
like I love I love that this episode kind of. I that's the thing. If I'm totally honest, though, I loved the stuff with Fennec. I think my favorite part of the episode was that subplot with Omega and Crosshair because of how like wholesome it was. It was genuinely touching to see Omega's kindness to Crosshair because they have been in a very tense situation with the situation on Tantis and then being on the run, and then they've literally had to go into like multiple missions straight away. So it was kind of nice to see them just sort of in a more peaceful setting, and Omega's nurturing tendencies kind of extend to Crosshair. Like the shot where she was getting him to meditate, and his hand was shaking, and she put her hand on his hand. That broke
adorable.
my heart. That healed my heart a little bit there. That was just
so adorable.
There was that, and there was a moment when Crosshair was training, and she puts her hand on his shoulder, and he just kind of looks at it for a second. I was like, "You're breaking me! You're breaking me, Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett.
If anything happens to her, I'm gonna riot."
No,
she's so adorable. She cannot die. Please.
No, she can't.
Please, Brad and Jennifer, don't do that to us.
I couldn't handle it.
No, me neither.
But it was nice to see Fee again, who I've done a complete 180 on. It's reverse.
Does Fee know that Tech is dead?
Well, she made the comment like, "Oh, Tech used to handle all this stuff." So, like, I mean, she's gotta like have some kind of an inkling. I mean,
that was her man. Like, that makes me sad. I can't
imagine she doesn't.
I thought that romance was gonna take off.
Cannot imagine she doesn't know. Because like that's just been the theme of this season, where people are acknowledging Tech's death, but like not outwardly being like, "I can't believe Tech is dead." Like, so. Well, in Don's mind, he's not. But that was last week's discussion.
I'm still clinging to hope with that clone assassin, but I'm fully
honestly,
prepared to be wrong.
I would like for Tech to still be alive. I don't think that's Tech though.
I don't think it's Tech either.
Honestly, he moved and talked a lot like Crosshair, which was a little jarring to me.
That's what I'm thinking.
I was like,
that's what I'm thinking.
I don't want him to be bad.
There is the sniper thing, and that does make me wonder if maybe Andrew's like more like. Yeah, like Andrew's theory of it being a clone of Crosshair, I think is perhaps there's a bit more legs to it now that they've kind of like shown. Well, I was going to say it was because the Crosshair has the shakiness, so maybe it's because they extracted some of his DNA to use for the clone. But then thinking about it, it's not really shown to be a physical thing. It's a mental thing that he has because I think that's unrelated to whoever the clone is. It's more just the fact that he is traumatized.
Well, they even have that scene with AZ where he is like, "I can't. It might not.
There's nothing wrong with you."
You
go meditate
in my head. And then he gets really pissy. But I just love the sincerity of Hunter. He has Omega stay behind because he doesn't want her to take any risks right now while they're trying to figure out and help out with Rex and figure out why the Empire is after her again with the M count stuff. And I just love how he takes her aside and is like, make sure Crosshair gets his hand checked out. Like, I need you to, it's getting worse. And I just love that's like, he is like looking out for his brother, and you can tell Omega very much cares about Crosshair. So I just think it's the perfect thing to like have them have their more quiet moments. And I think through calling back and like having it be, starting at least with her teaching him how to meditate is just such a simple thing that we've seen before with Star Wars, but like it still worked. And we got a couple nice, some really nice scenes and one just beautiful shot of them just sitting together on the peaks with Batcher.
Perfect.
But
I love that Hunter isn't the one to do it, like to ask him to get his hand checked out, because it's like you see those scenes of him and Omega, and it's like Hunter would not do that for him. He's not going to sit there and like, let's meditate.
And I think that's really kind of clever about Hunter as well, though, because like I think Hunter's skills definitely got a highlight in this episode, but I think it also showed how perceptive he is, because he's seen. He noticed in the last two-parter that Omega was very close with Crosshair. She was like even mimicking him, and Crosshair was like has very clearly been protective over Omega. And I think Hunter was able to kind of observe that if anyone is going to help him get his hand checked out, it's going to be Omega. He wouldn't listen to me. He wouldn't listen to Wrecker or Echo. He would I think Omega is the only one who can kind of break through his kind of steely pissiness, as Andrew put it earlier. I was gonna say another thing about Hunter. I think I've lost my train of thought with Hunter.
While you think, I'll just, I guess, redirect it to the fact that we find out that the Empire is sending these bounty hunters to target the people with the higher M counts, and they're trying to figure out what it is. I'm just waiting for someone to just go on screen and just like, midichlorians, like help us out. Because
I know. Which come to think about it, like they wouldn't know what a midichlorian is.
No, they wouldn't.
Honestly, like it's like only said to us in like secret. Like Qui-Gon is literally just like, talking to Obi-Wan. So like anyone who's not a Jedi, probably does not know.
It is very intriguing that we have this plot where there's a mystery where we know the answer already, but the characters don't.
The dramatic irony of it all.
It's still working though. Like it's not like I'm still like invested in it, and obviously it's going to lead to more of the stuff with the cloning on Tantus and good old Palpatine's related to it somehow. But then this brings them, because they're like, oh, we know some bounty hunters, and then they bring up Omega brings up Fennec, and then Crosshair, who, and he's just still. You can tell, and it's kind of sad though, because you can still tell like how much he's missed, and Omega even says it to him like, you missed a lot while you were gone. He's like, yes, I did, and it's just you can tell he still has that sadness about being abandoned, and I think
that's what I remembered.
It was a very powerful scene.
Exactly, and that just reminded me of like what I was trying to say earlier. It wasn't about Hunter; it was about Crosshair, and it was the line that he said went to Omega when she mentioned about meditating with Gunji. He said, "You've bitten to Kashyyyk," and that was like that hit for me a little bit because having read like some Legends stuff and seeing like the way the Empire exploits Kashyyyk, like there's been so many like kind of Star Wars like ancillary stories that have kind of shown just how much the Empire hit that world. Like we see it in Jedi Fallen Order. There's other stories like Force Unleashed where you just see so many complexes built there, and there's even like one of my personal favorites is like Galactic Battlegrounds, how there's like a whole little campaign where Han and Chewie have to go back there after the Battle of Endor and like help liberate it from the Empire. It was just I've always kind of felt the Empire's oppression of Kashyyyk in particular, and so that line kind of hit hard, and it kind of showed that Crosshair, part of Crosshair's like the cause for the tremor in his hand is the fact that there is that guilt, not just at missing out, but also how he has perpetuated so much of the Empire's evils by doing his job as a soldier. Like he basically helped the Empire get its foothold in the galaxy on numerous occasions. Because like we talked about last time with Hauser, how Hauser didn't trust him because of what he put Hauser and his crew through, and how he basically ensured the Empire's foothold on Ryloth, doing what he did with the senator whose name I can't remember now. Ormfrey Tar, yes. Somehow managing to not kill that guy. No one told me about Twi'lek physiology.
It's a mystery to us all.
But definitely like it's Crosshair in a way has been like redeemed by helping Omega being released, but at the same time he hasn't done the work to actually be redeemed, and it's like showing now physically, which is very interesting that it's like something that's happening to him mentally and now it's affecting him physically, which is a really cool aspect of the show. I didn't see them doing that, but I feel like he has to do something to like fully not only be redeemed from other people, but also to like forgive himself. And you did this, but like you also have to forgive yourself because you had the chip in you. Like a lot of it wasn't your choice, and then at one point it was your choice, and you just have to live with that.
We're seeing it more and more each episode where he's slowly regaining the trust of everyone. It was Hunter back on the outpost. It was Hauser last week. So we're seeing more and more of him like having that personal redemption for himself. But I think once we finally get that moment where he opens up and talks about what they did to him on Tantus, because he's still withholding so much stuff. It's going to just make us like our hearts are going to break. But it's going to hit because we know Crosshair doesn't do that. We very rarely ever see him open up or show that much emotion. He's a very much a show don't tell kind of guy. So to actually see it, it's going to break me.
Yeah,
but I just love to just talk about how he's a just curmudgeon for one more second. He's like, I'm not gonna like this, am I? It's like, well, yes, but you don't like anything.
This is great. Perfect Crosshair line. I was going to build off what you were going to say, Andrew, and just add that, like, I kind of hope that after he has had that moment where he talks about his feelings and actually engages with that and is able to forgive himself, that's when the tremor starts to fade and he gets off another one of those amazing sniper shots. Because
I want to see the little mirror things again.
That'd be so cool. And also that's actually kind of an awesome like narrative, really. Like, hey guys, talk about your feelings, actually deal with your trauma, it will make you a badass, just look at Crosshair.
It's gonna be when he finally like makes that big shot again, it's gonna be like, we're so back, boys. We're so back.
We're so back.
We're so back. I'm so impressed with how the show has handled his redemption so far. So if they fucking kill him,
I'd hate that.
Don't do it. Don't fall into the trap. Let us keep our traumatized boy, please. He's got the toothpick.
Give him the Zuko ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make him king of the Fire Nation. Let's do that. But switching gears switching gears to Space Florida. Well, first we meet Fennec again on the station. It just I don't know if it's the same one that we see in the Book of Boba Fett during the Mando episode, but it definitely gave the same vibes to me. The space station that we meet Fennec on.
Well, that was like a Halo ring kind of like, and this one kind of gave me. I mean, I've seen people compare it to the rings of Kafrine, but I think it's more like a general space station kind of vibe, which was really cool. And we got like a very awesome like introduction to Fennec, as you said, like her just like chatting with this like surly Rhodian. Yeah, and then just like sitting there cool as a cucumber, like negotiating with Hunter and Wrecker, and it's just like she's cool as a cucumber.
So cool.
It's so great that Ming-Na Wen is like continuing to play this character in Star Wars because she's such a fan, and she's just she's able to bring that kind of like professionalism to Fennec, where you buy that this woman is like a trained killer, and she is like just as lethal as the likes of Boba Fett or Bosk or Dengar, any bounty hunters we've seen in Star Wars. There's like a real finesse to everything she says, a very kind of like measured nature. Even now, when, as you said earlier, like she is like very focused on just making money, and there's kind of a poignancy to that motivation, like when she has that exchange with Wrecker and Hunter later on, where she kind of says to them about like, about the credits, and Hunter says, "Oh, it's not all about money," and she says like, "Oh, you're just saying that
you don't have
any money."
And that's a really funny roast.
He just shuts up. He's like,
shit. It's like, she's got me there, but it's like there's a little bit of poignancy to that because Fennec basically, as we see later on, that kind of lifestyle does just kind of leave Fennec literally lying dead in a ditch. Like she is ultimately kind of screwed over and blasted by a little upstart who wants to make more credits, and it's only through the completely selfless kindness of Boba Fett that she kind of like has a second leash on life, essentially. And that kind of, it's just kind of like poignant that we're seeing her in this kind of like phase. She's very much kind of like a mirror to Boba in that respect, where there is a kind of there is a sort of a code of honor, but there is that kind of lethal attitude and that very kind of like practical, ruthless mindset that just makes her a really interesting presence alongside the Bad Batch.
Very much a job is a job.
Yeah.
She even says like good guys, bad guys.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's like the Han Solo thing. We know she is a good guy. We've seen her be a good guy, but she keeps saying and doing things that good guys don't do, which makes her ambiguous and therefore cool. So it's just
reminded me a ton of DJ from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
He was like,
Don't let
You-
the
you know-
rebel fool you, friend.
exactly. They get you today, you get them tomorrow. Fine.
Yeah. DJ has so many good lines in that. I love his broken English as well. Let me learn you something big.
Love him. Yeah, she definitely gave that vibe. Like it's
She
like,
did.
whoever's paying me, that's what I'm doing today.
And there was that moment where she like keeps trying to pry the batch about like what's going on with Omega, and they're just not budging, or they're being very vague. There was a great moment. I was like, oh, by the way, she didn't like I didn't lose her. I let her go. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, literally when Don brought up like how cool Ming Na is, like bringing that into Fennec, that line delivery was so perfect. She's like, "Oh, I let her go." Like,
Yeah.
every
And
line
she really
delivery
did.
she had here was perfect.
Like she's like, I'd rather stay and kick Cad Bane's ass just to show how awesome I am.
Yeah.
Basically.
she's like, "All right, I'll let the kid
Like,
go. I gotta
we
save
know
my
he-
reputation."
Because we know he's showing up again this season because he was in the trailer.
He's
Is
got to
he
be one of those
one?
bounty hunters.
Is he one of the bounty hunters,
Probably.
or
Oh,
is
For
he-
sure, yeah, because in Clone Wars he hunts poor sensitive kids.
I mean,
so
yeah, that was literally the last
check out.
episode we watched. Was
Yeah, we were literally making fun of him
Yeah.
of like how he will do anything for money. Like he will
Yeah.
literally. He's the guy everyone wants
has-
Boba Fett to be, where he's like he is completely morally vacant. Whereas Fennec and Boba at
Literally.
least have
as long as I get paid.
that
He
code.
has
Yeah.
the sweetest droid, and he is like the worst person.
It's just abusing that poor droid all the time.
poor
Straps bombs in him. Oh no! It's just perfect.
Oh no, I am doomed. That droid has got a major
Literally.
case of Stockholm syndrome. It has to be said.
It's like Toto, what are you doing here?
Like, it's like literal programming. Cad Bane is like, I'll just install the Stockholm programming there.
Yeah,
Literally.
just the fact that
Definitely.
like the more we talk about Space Force, it's like just swamp planet. They're on one of those like bayou boat kind of things, which was just a cool visual because you don't
with
really
the
see.
engine.
Yeah, you don't see stuff like that in Star Wars that often, so
Yeah.
it was just cool to get like a different take. But then we also got the Space Gators and the bounty hunter that they're going after. Siler Saris is like crab meets praying mantis meets
That dude was
crocodile. Like it
crazy.
was
I
scary.
didn't like him. He was
Not a
a
fan.
creepy dude. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he
They
actually
had
felt
to
quite
stun
lethal.
him 4 times.
Yep.
That's crazy. What? Like,
know,
how
it was like-
strong is this dude?
I was like, why won't you go down? Come on.
What the heck?
It's like
And
I
then
can buy that guy was lethal enough to take out some like Haxian brood.
Yeah, I was about to say I got to
That was
mention
a
it
cool
just for
reference.
Connor with him not being here. The fact that we got a Jedi Fallen Order reference there.
Oh, I actually have a soundbite from Connor that I would like to add. Like when I asked him what he thought of the Haxian brood reference making it in, he was like, neat.
Yeah, that's not. Yep, Connor, you're here. That's crazy.
Neat.
No,
Go.
it's not.
Sweet.
It's not Jared or Eli's impression, but
No.
it'll do. for this
It'll do. It's almost like he's here with us. But no, there was something like definitely intentional about the fact that we get these like super slow, methodical scenes of Hunter and Wrecker like disarming these mines, and then boom, these gators come out of nowhere, and we get super fast-paced action with Wrecker just fucking body slamming space alligators into the water.
My favorite bit was when he like suplexed the bounty hunter they were after. Like the guy was just so like pesky that he just had to like bust out the wrestling moves on him.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was hilarious.
My favorite, like again, Fennec was going after him, and then Wrecker just comes out of nowhere and just starts beating the shit out of him, which was great. I just love again also how done Hunter and Wrecker are like this whole mission. They're like, we do not want to do this
Yeah.
at all. But then at the end, Wrecker's like, oh man, you were good decision bringing us along with you. It's like, did you want to do this or not? Like, I'm confused.
I got some wrestle space gators. I'm happy.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually
Probably-
think like if they ever retire, like that's where Wrecker is gonna live, and he's just gonna ruffle
He's
space.
just gonna live in the swamp.
he'd travel to the land of Exandria and go and wrestle in the Crucible with like Grog Strongjaw from Critical Role. They'd be best buds for the record, Wrecker and Grog. Travis Willingham's character, just like brilliant.
Fennec's just, that's why I don't go in the water after the gators go up.
Yep.
Just like you said, every single line is like cool as a cucumber, where you're like, you're such an asshole at this point, but you're so cool that I can't hate you.
Yeah, like, she's like, all right, go inside. I'm keeping watch. I'm not going in there.
Yeah. It's like, I'm cute. Oh, so we do all the work and you just stand here and get the reward.
She's like, yeah.
Like she went through a lot of crap in the she went through a lot of crap in the first season. Like she had like a disgusting like Kaminoan like clone corpse fall on top of her with all the disgusting liquid. So yeah, I would if that happened to me and I didn't even get any money out of that, I probably would want the two tough clone guys to go and do all the work for me. Yeah.
I just like that we have her back in these episodes after not seeing her in season 2, and we didn't see her in Mando season 3 at all. So like it's been close to 2 years since we've seen Fennec at all. So it was nice to catch back up with the character at a different point and like really, really focus on her in this episode, which was nice. And just the thing about the fact that she doesn't have the information that they need, but like she can get it for them. And it's like, I'm going to have you do a job for me for the potential of information.
Yeah. I didn't say I had it, but I'll get it.
Yeah, it's not me. I got to go get it, and then I'll get you the information.
And honestly, like, it just goes to show that Hunter and Wrecker, like, they are great fighters, but they're low-key dumb. Like, you never even actually solidified that she had this information.
She could just come back and be like, didn't get it, guys. Sorry. And it's
it's like, you didn't.
That's the kind of thing.
She had it.
Like that makes me think she's got another couple of appearances in this season, because I think like it might just be a one and done episode, because she is contacting someone next episode, which I think we all kind of have the same inkling of who it is, but because it's very similar to like
I was hoping she was going to be in this episode.
Same. But like I kind of get the feeling that like she might pop back up again, given that she had connections with Nala Say, but maybe this is just it, really. But in any case, it's really cool that she's here and that she got to kind of like you had this kind of team up with her in the batch, kind of showing. Like, I like that her appearance in this show has kind of gone the whole spectrum of like her nature as like a bounty hunter, but also that she has that somewhat that code of honor a little bit, and that she is more predisposed towards the good guys than the bad. That she's not like there was that subtle thing about the fact that she isn't one of the bounty, even despite her reputation, she's not one of the bounty hunters going after. I
haven't taken the jobs, but I know about.
Yeah, like and so they're definitely going to show Cad Bane doing that. I think to show just how different Fennec is from other bounty hunters. Even then, I think like it could have been like Cad Bane very easily could have been her, like the person she was talking to at the end of the episode, had they not gone out of their way to not show the hologram or hear the voice. That just makes it like it's 100% who we hope it is. Yeah, because
hopefully,
if it's not,
which is very interesting about Ventress, because we all are expecting it to be Ventress, so that kind of gives the impression that maybe she is still a bounty hunter at this point. Now that she's still kicking around, but like. I'm very fascinated to see what her opinion on the Empire is, because she's gonna know that Palpatine is a Sith. She knows, like she knows what Sith are. She like served under Count Dooku. She knows that the Jedi would not do what Sidious like Palpatine accuses them of. So. She's going to see through the lies. She's going to know that the Empire, how the Empire came about. She's going to be able to surmise that Palpatine rose from the dark side.
Palpatine in the Clone Wars?
She never did.
No.
Palpatine did view her as a threat, because like it's
Palpatine. Yeah, he wanted to kill her.
Yeah, because Palpatine was like, Dooku, you gotta check her out, bro.
He knew that Ventress was getting more powerful, and that would give Dooku the potential to betray him. And that's I mean, that opens up a whole realm of possibility, really. Like that, I'd love to see that what if with Star Wars, but like what if Ventress and Dooku just killed Sidious? Because like yeah, they're both bad. They were both very deep in the dark side at that point, but also they were both former Jedi, and they both like had potential to come back to the light. And it was only Sidious's like stranglehold on Dooku that like put the kibosh on that. So I'd be interested to see that kind of story.
That's the thing with Ventress is I have a bunch of questions raised by this scene. It's like, one, we still have to have the big question of, well, how is she back? And they'll obviously reveal it, but like if she is a bounty hunter, it would kind of make sense. But also, I don't know, like if she's one of the people hunting like the people with the M count, like the high M count. Like I don't know how I feel about that because the last thing she did before she died was go back to the light side. So if she's, I'm hoping that she's trying to protect them.
I would say so. Like
maybe if Dark Disciple, this is before that.
It's like near the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, so it's like it was meant to be a Series 6 storyline that got cut from that season because they cancelled it back then. So like it's definitely going to be after that, and like I think Andrew's right. I don't think she'll be hunting M count children for the Empire because there is that storyline where she's sent along on a bounty hunter mission, and the minute to protect that cargo, and the minute she finds out the cargo is a young woman, a child, she can't bring herself to hand her over to like this very I can't get into it because of like that. It's just we've got to discuss that episode on its own. But man, that was some creepy shit. But I don't think Ventress is going to be hunting M-count children. I think if anything, there's the potential that she might even go up against Cad Bane. Maybe she is going around sabotaging the efforts of bounty hunters to take force-sensitive children to the Empire, or at least those with high M counts. Because like it makes sense at this point, like that she is going to get involved with the batch because maybe she is going to be put in contact with them by Fennec to explain what metachlorians are. Because I would imagine it goes around in some circles that, oh, look, she's a bounty hunter, yes, but she can use the Force and she has a lightsaber, so she knows about the Force and stuff. So it would make a lot of sense for her to appear now to explain to the batch what it is the Empire wants with Omega. Unless it's a rug pull and it's actually Quinlan Voss, because...
that was my next question. I was like, for the 5th episode in a row, does this mean that we're also going to get Quinlan Voss next?
Yeah, like we get a cloaked figure like coming to like Parbu to talk. We all think it's Ventress, and then it's like
Ventress.
Yeah, and they could be working together. Yeah, they could be working together still to like stop the Empire getting a hold of Force sensitive kids.
If this is how we get connections to the Path in the Bad Batch, I'm all for it.
The hidden path, good. Path of the open hand, bad. Very bad.
We gotta clarify.
Very different.
Yeah, we got to clarify the differences between those two path groups. What is good? What is very, very bad? Yes.
If Quinlan leads them to the path of the open hand, that means something bad.
I will. Yeah, no, yeah. My opinion on Quinlan Voss will flip flop very, very quickly. I can tell you.
But no, I'm very excited that the fact that like almost right at a little over the halfway point of the season is where it looks like we're finally going to get Ventress back in the fold and hopefully be a big player in the rest of the season. But I'm just very intrigued with where this is going, how the mystery is unfolding. But the one thing I think I want more than anything is just more of Crosshair's scenes and finding himself. And those smaller moments have just been my favorite parts of the season so far. And just also shout out the cool jacket that Omega was wearing in those scenes on Pabu. I was like, you're looking cool there. But those were my favorite parts of the episode, especially that scene where the three of them were looking off into the sun was just beautiful. And that's the second shot in this season where it's just characters sitting, looking out into the distance. And it's like, it's great both times. But it was a fun episode. I, again, don't have as much to say about it as opposed to the last couple, just because those were so big in terms of, a lot of stuff's going down or a lot of big development is happening. This was just kind of teases for what's going to end up happening. But it was nice to see Fennec again, and the intrigue of what this will bring is delightful. Any last thoughts, you two, before we kind of wrap things up?
No, not really. I just really liked the episode. It was really good. Loved seeing Fennec again. Loved all the stuff with Crosshair and Omega.
Yeah, it was definitely set up next week very well, but it had a lot of like nice payoff moments.
Absolutely, and it gave us space for it. Yeah, and Fennec. So no, it was a fun week. So next week is going to be titled The Harbinger. So again, if that's not a Saz Ventress, I don't know who else it could be. It's Sid.
Well, it could be Cad Bane because he is the bounty hunter taking. I mean, that's the thing. Her line in the trailer could be directed at Bane rather than the Bad Batch because, like, they could be playing around with the footage. I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're making it very tempting. I mean, I would wager she's only in the one episode as well because, like, Nika Futterman has teased that this is just a stepping stone of like her doing other stuff. So that has me excited that they've got other stuff planned for Ventress, especially in animation. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I'm very intrigued with where this is going. But then after next week, we're gonna have another 2-parter. So we got a lot of good stuff to look forward to.
I think we better wave bye-bye to Pabu.
No.
It's good. Andrew, we got to face facts. It's going to be the Empire coming to Pabu. It really is. Like, no way it's not.
Can we wave bye to Sid instead?
What are you talking about? I haven't had my redemption arc yet.
No redemption arc. Not allowed. She doesn't deserve it. I think.
Again, we have the cloaked figure, and it's not Quinlan or Ventress. It's just like Sid standing on top of a pit droid. I didn't even talk about the pit droid. I love the little pit droid. The pit droid was great. I should have nominated that pit droid for this week.
Gotta love a pit droid. Just gotta every single time. It's like, Phantom Menace. There it is again. But again, it was a fun episode. And Wrecker wrestling space alligators is all I need in life. But I think that'll do it for this week. Floridian Wrecker. Give him like a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, and just like board shorts and just
like a grill.
Drink in hand is just great time. But I think that's going to do
my shit.
Just pictures of him with like the biggest alligator he catches for the day.
Wrecker would 100% have a fish in, like him holding a fish in his Tinder bio.
Yeah,
But it would just be like so like he wouldn't get the stereotype. It would just be like, oh my god, look at this fish I caught.
We'll wrestle gators for cash.
What a guy. This is what we need actually for the Bad Batch season 4 is just this. Just Florida Wrecker.
Yeah. We had Car Wash Crosshair like a few episodes ago, and now we've got
what is
Florida
this
Wrecker.
Fucked up universe we are creating with the Batch.
We need to think of one for Hunter and Echo. I mean, Echo is stay-at-home mom, so maybe he's like a babysitter, and then Hunter is like well, the tracker thing is too obvious, but I feel like I'm gonna keep an eye out for Hunter so we can give him an alternative.
We gotta give him an alter ego so it can be complete by the end of the season. But I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in for our discussion for the Acolyte trailer and for this week's new episode of The Bad Batch. You can catch us back here next week where we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be talking The Bad Batch. And if you missed it the other day during our episode and yesterday as of recording on our Twitter, we announced Glup Madness, which is going to be our tournament of Glup Shittos. Each one submitted by a member of the community. So we have a couple spots left. If you're interested in having one of your favorite characters repped in this tournament, just shoot Don, Connor, or I a message, and we'll add them to the list. I think we still have 6 or 7 left as of recording. So hopefully we'll have the bracket ready to go sometime before next week's episode. But Mo, thanks for coming on. Where can everyone find you, and hope you enjoyed being back on the show?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. You can find me on Twitter at JinMyStardust. We're just patiently waiting for the Acolyte.
Yeah. And
catching up on Phase 1 of the High Republic.
That's just perfect. Donovan, as for yourself.
You can find me on Twitter at Donovan Mead, TikTok at Donovan McComish, where I recently posted a a Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic Collection TikTok. Hopefully plan on doing a few more there, but you can also find me on
it to get patched.
You could, same. I really hope they sort the multiplayer stuff out. You can also find me on Instagram at Donovan_McComish, Threads Donovan_McComish, Blue Sky at Donovan McComish.bsky.social. And like Connor, I and Eli, I'm a question writer over at Star Wars Inner Galaxy Epic Confrontations, where we have trivia contests between various Star Wars media personalities. It's really fun, like getting to see like different people go head to head. We got some cool stuff coming up soon. And also, like Connor and Andrew, I am a writer for SWEF, which is Star Wars Editor Fiction, alongside Austin and a bunch of other personalities there from This Is the Wayseekers. We write a selection of short stories as well as articles as well, but mostly short stories currently that we try to adhere to what is canon in the Star Wars universe, but we create our own like little stories and characters along the way, and occasionally even pull some elements from legends that we think are appropriate for the story. I have written one story so far that came out in June of 2022. It is called Scars of War. It takes place 5 years after Revenge of the Sith and stars a clone trooper that deserted the Empire who is known as Blister, whose quiet life in the Outer Rim on the little planet of Kivo is interrupted by the arrival of a Jedi survivor of Order 66 named Shar Kun. And it's all about them reconciling what they went through in the aftermath of Order 66. So if you like Star Wars and pain, definitely give it a read.
All right, just don't bring up Epic Confrontations while Mo's on the episode. I'm still bitter over it. For myself, you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Starlight Andrew. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at For the Repub Pod. Stay tuned. We're going to have updates, and we're going to be posting matchups for Glut Madness in the coming days. And also make sure to check out the Jedi Archives poll when it drops after this episode. Our YouTube For the Republic podcast. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And for myself, you can check out the StarlightJournal.blog. I am currently dragging my feet because I haven't been in the mood to write this week. But I am currently writing finally doing my 3-month belated Best of 2023 movies article. So that will be hopefully up by the end of the week if I'm not lazy. But I have it done. So look forward to that. Check us back here next week for more Bad Batch coverage. Our Clone Wars rewatch, it's coming soon. We'll get back to it within the next couple weeks because we just have one episode up next.
Yeah.
And as always, we'll see you guys later. And until next time, may the Force be with you always.